are down. So third graders, what we can take is we learned about Jane Goodall from that video clip. We learned a little more about her in our reading today. Were some of the things we learned in both similar or the same? We learned she likes chimps. She's out to make a difference. She's researching chimps. She's an activist. We learned a lot of the same things in both of them. Again, that's that even though they weren't both texts, we were comparing resources today, that video and our reading. What we are going to take and do with that information is we are going to start to create that main idea and supporting details. So I want us to think back to our video and our reading today. What would you say is our main idea? So not like a key information, not a quick fact. If we had to just kind of summarize in a few words what we read today and the video, what was it? What was that main idea that we take away from those today? Claire. Yeah, and so when we say she's trying to help him, she's an activist. She's an activist for chimpanzees. I love that. Everything we read and we saw today was about chimpanzees. About who? Jane Goodall. Jane Goodall, right? Everything we read, everything we saw in the video was about Jane Goodall. And to go with that, it's about her being an activist for these animals. Does that, no, that could be a supporting detail. So I guess we could just put Jane Goodall. But I think pretty much everything we read, though, connects back to that. Because when we learned about her schooling, it was about that. When we learned about her childhood, it was about that. Being in Africa, what she learned. It all came back to her being an activist for those chimps, right? That's a huge piece. We will all write down our main idea together, and then you're going to go back to this page, and if it's find things that stood out in both of them and write them down as supporting details. What are things that we read about Jane Goodall that showed she was an activist? Okay, so Jane Goodall, our main idea is Jane Goodall is an activist. She is an activist for chimpanzees. So you can go back to the page right before it and find that information. What supports that she was, in fact, an activist for chimpanzees? What evidence did we take from our reading and put it in our supporting details? Now, we came up with 8 things today, but were some of those crossover that fit together? Yeah, like Jane Goodall is a primatologist. She likes chimps and she watches them. Those kind of go together, right? She studies in Africa to learn how smart they are. She's researching them. Find those main ideas, those supporting details, and put them down here. I'm only going to give you a few moments to get that started.